Hi, this is Barb. Welcome back to my site. So, when it's Halloween, why not make something that's quite unique? These pumpkins are not your typical huge, heavy, solid blobs of concrete. These are hollow, have great texture, and that allows you to put some light inside. They can cast some really great shadows. So the premise is to make a form that you can work your draped concrete around. So using some discarded upcycled plastic bags, tie a knot in the end, fill it with fiberfill, some old stuffing from pillows, and then tie a knot or tie a string around the other end. You hope to get a nice roundish shape. Since pumpkins have sections, use some string, divide it up into how many sections you want, and tie it, bulging as much or as little as you like. Once you've got your forms made, and you'll probably want to make a few at a time before you actually start with the messy part. So for draped concrete, I use only Portland cement. It is the active ingredient in concrete mixes. So this does not have any sand or rocks or aggregate in it. It mixes really quite easily into the water and becomes quite mucky. So you want a consistency that is not too watery and not too thick. So I'd say it's somewhat like a milkshake, a little thinner than maybe yogurt. So the fabric is dipped into the slurry of the Portland cement and massaged in quite well. You want to make sure that that cement mix, the Portland cement slurry, gets into the fibers of the fabric. Otherwise, it will not become stiff. And since this fabric is quite thin, you need to make sure, especially, that you get a really good absorption. So this fabric is probably cotton based, which helps actually making it absorb. So massage in the slurry, open it up, see if you've got into all the fibers, and then dip it again if you have to. Try to keep things not too messy. Don't wash your hands in the sink. I usually have a bucket of water in case I need to dip my hands. It doesn't take a lot of mix because this fabric doesn't absorb a lot. So it takes a little bit of fussing to unfold the fabric once it's been dipped. But you notice that it hasn't globbed up all the fabrics. You can still get nice holes, which is what you want since you're putting light inside these. Work the fabric around your form, sliding it, pushing it. Be as fussy or not fussy as you like. It all depends also on the fabric you're using. The idea is on the bottom, you're going to leave an opening. So if you rough cut your fabric beforehand, afterward, you can still cut it with an old pair of scissors. It's quite easy to manipulate the fabric because the slurry will make it stick to itself and to the pumpkin. So it looks a little tedious, but also that depends on the type of fabric. You can cut some extra tails off to clean up a nice, somewhat round section that you're going to leave open at the bottom. Once you're happy with the way the fabric has covered the form, now it's time to get those details of the pumpkin sections. I guess they're called sections. So with the cotton string tied again to match the way that you had the form before. Possibly you could skip tying the form in the first place and only tie it in this stage. I think that would work as well. The string will get covered in the concrete slurry, or you can paint some on top to cover it and make sure that it'll eventually end up stiff. So there you have your basic form, divided and tied. You can take a look to see if you need to slightly brush on a little bit more slurry, which will give it more strength once it's cured. To add more details, you can make little curly tendrils that would grow on the vines. Wrap some string around wire and then wrap the wire around a pencil or something like that, and then dip into the slurry. This will make sure that it gets nice and stiff and is looking like it's made out of concrete. For the stem, I used some flannel fabric, old flannel fabric, because again it's cotton and it's fairly thin. I dip it into the fabric, massage it quite well, dip it into the cement mix and massage it quite well. It's a strip that is about a little longer than the length of the stem. So I fold a little bit up off the bottom edge and then roll it into a stem. That way the stem will have a taper. It'll be wider at the bottom and thinner at the top. And then that gets added on the top of the pumpkin. The slurry will make it stick to the pumpkin. Wrinkle it, squeeze it, twist it to get the character of a pumpkin stem. Add the tendril underneath. Make sure everything's positioned as you like and let it cure.